Hey guys, it's Quay and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So before we start this video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for 1,500 subscribers, period. I am so grateful for you guys. You have no idea how thankful I am that you guys really enjoy listening to me and just like having open discussions with me. Even those of you who like hate me or like not even hate me, but those of you who just like don't like what I'm saying or disagree with me, I like that we can still talk about it, you know? I like that we can still talk, like we can disagree and it's fine, life goes on. I'm just really grateful for all of you guys, so I just wanted to say thank you. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about just wage slavery. I really wanted to make this video because I just got off of work, and as you guys know, I hate my job. I've been trying to quit for the past like 3 weeks now, but I can't because we'll get into that later. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Also, subscribe to my channel. Thanks. So what is wage slavery? What is it? You know what I mean? It's 2021. Slavery should not really be a thing. But all that wage slavery is you basically just live paycheck to paycheck, and there is no salary requirement for being a wage slave. You can make $10,000 a year or $850,000 a year and still be a slave. Here's an example. So all that a wage slave is just you're basically a slave to your job. You cannot live without a job. You cannot live without working. If you were to quit your job right now, you wouldn't have anything to fall back on. And yes, you may have like a couple $1,000s saved up like as savings. However, you would still need to get a job at some point and some point soon to maintain your lifestyle and pay your expenses and, you know, feed your family if you have family, and etc. So you're a slave to the system, and there is no salary requirement for that. Like I was saying earlier, it doesn't matter how much you make, you can still be a slave to the system. So how did we get here? I don't know. I'm going to tell you now. I have no idea. But we're here, and it's a very real thing. And a lot of Americans, and maybe people in other countries, if you experience this, definitely comment down below. I do want to hear. But I know in America, a lot of us are wage slaves. We're stuck at these jobs, and we have to work in order to, you know, provide for our families if we have them, or even ourselves, pay off our debt, and all that stuff. Let's talk about debt really quickly. I think it's crazy how much debt the average American has. I don't understand how we get so much debt, and then our debt to income ratio is just ridiculous. The debt is all the way up here and the income is down here. How does that make sense? When I started building my credit, I started getting offers like crazy for credit cards, loans, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm still in debt. Like, I still am in debt. Why are you guys offering me stuff to put me back in debt? It's like the system wants you in debt, because if you're in debt, that means you have to work. You have to work with a capital K, and there's no real escape for you because you have to pay off that debt, because you can't do anything with that, with all that debt and that bad credit. So you definitely become a slave to the system. And escape, I think, it's hard, but it's possible. I'm gonna use some like slavery analogies here, and I don't mean to offend anyone. If I do, I'm sorry, but I just think we can draw similarities from the two. Slaves were never really able to not work. Even when they got old, they were still doing some kind of work. It may have not have been as labor intensive when they were younger, but it's still some form of work. And even now, and I can only speak from experience and with the customers that I talk to on a daily basis, who are most of them being elderly, they still have to work because, you know, their social security check isn't enough to cover their expenses, or, you know, they just don't have money saved up. They have some job, like some part-time job or something, just to cover some of their basic expenses. And it's sad when you think about it, because these people are in their old age and they should be able to just live out their best life in retirement and chill, but they can't because they don't have the funds to do so. So they're stuck in this cycle of work, and it's crippling as someone who is so young, who listens to the advice of older people because they have more life experience than I do, to see them in this cycle. And, you know, they did everything right. They put money in their 401k, but inflation, prices go up, cost of living goes up. So it's like their money really doesn't matter. It negates everything. And it's sad. And I'm not saying all old people are like this, but the majority that I've spoken to are not in that financial place where they can just, live out their life in luxury and just chill because they are a slave to the system. When I was doing like some light research for this video, and I put that in quotation marks, so I just read like a couple articles, but they said pretty much the same thing when it comes to escaping wage slavery. It's managing your finances better, getting like a hold of your finances, where your money is going, what you're spending your money on, cut back on your spending, save, put money into the stock market, invest, start a business. And it's like, are you guys forgetting how hard that is? If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you don't really have money to save. So what do you have to do? Go out and get another job. That right there, like, what? You have to work 2 jobs to put money aside to save, to escape this vicious cycle. By the time you're done, you're exhausted and you're tired. And I don't blame you. It's so hard starting a business. It's so hard getting a second job to pay off your debt. It's exhausting and it's tiring, and I can understand why people give up, because it's like, damn, is this even worth it? Like, I literally, and take it from me, I work 2 jobs and still trying to find time to film YouTube videos and just have a social life and still spend time with my family. It's so hard because I'm so tired all the time because I'm just working and it feels like all I do is work. So I get it. It's like not easy. You can take that journey, escape, but it's a tough, hard journey, and not everyone is going to make it. Some people are going to go back because it's what they know and it's what they're comfortable with. But those who push and make it, is it worth it? I mean, obviously it is because you're free, but are you really free? I don't know. I just know it's tough, and it's crazy how this has become the new norm, and it's mind-blowing. The minimum wage hasn't increased since, like, God knows when. I don't have the exact date, I'm not going to look it up, but it's been a while since, like, the minimum wage has been low for a minute now. And I think it's crazy when everything goes up. The cost of living has increased, inflation through the roof. Everything's up. Food's expensive. Everything's just expensive. And the thought that increasing the minimum wage just like never dawned on anyone because it was deemed just like not important when most people work minimum wage jobs. Like, this idea that only teenagers work minimum wage jobs needs to be thrown out the window, because most people, like adults, are working these minimum wage jobs that you guys deem as unimportant but you still rely on. So it's like, let's pay them a living wage, seeing as the cost of living is increasing but their salary isn't. It keeps you trapped. It does. It keeps you stuck because you can't go anywhere. You cannot take a risk and leave your job and like really focus on your business because you don't have money saved up to do that. Like, you don't have anything to fall back on. There's no safety net. You're stuck working because you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're barely making ends meet. That right there crushes you and it keeps you just stuck. And the fact that this is legal blows my mind. When you really get into the nitty-gritty, it's like, how is this legal? Like, how can companies legally do this? And the fact that these corporations need the federal government to tell them to increase the wages for their employees makes no sense when you're giving your board of directors $1 million bonuses. What? You can give them $1 million bonus, but you can't give your customer service representative a bonus? Not even a bonus. You can't even give her paid time off, but you want to give the board $1 million bonuses. How does that make sense? Like, how does that make sense? And the fact that they have lobbyists, these billion-dollar companies, and I can speak for my company, they have lobbyists in Congress, and all that a lobbyist is someone who acts on behalf of the company that gets laws passed in favor of the company. They have lobbyists in Congress saying, do not increase the minimum wage because it's just gonna, do X, Y, Z, and it's gonna bring down our sales. Sweetheart, stop giving these board of directors and the CEOs multi-million-dollar bonuses. For what? Give it to your employees who really need it. Instead, you're keeping them in this cycle of having to work because you know that they rely on you. And I think what I like about this movement where people are just like not going back to these shitty-ass jobs is it lets them know, like, baby, you need us more than we need you. I mean, low-key, we kind of need you, but the company needs you more than you need it. I just think it's crazy. These CEOs, these big generous companies are the slave masters, and us employees are the slaves, stuck in this never-ending cycle. And I don't think we can ever really escape. I mean, obviously we can, but the journey's going to be tough. I know I was kind of all over the place with this video, but it's just like a late night video, so I just wanted to get this off my chest because it was just like really bothering me. And then, okay, before I leave, can we just talk about how unethical these big companies are? The fact that it took so long, the fact that Congress has to pass laws in order to make these companies do the right thing makes no sense to me. Like, how do you guys just not do the right thing? And why? Like, you what? Like, it takes the government having to step in and say, okay, you should pay people a little bit more than $2 an hour. But what do you, like, you should have already knew this. Like, you think people can live off of that? How about you try living off of that? Oh, you won't? Thought so. But anyways, you guys, I think that's all for my little rant, my little nighttime chit chat. Definitely comment down below your thoughts and opinions. I do want to hear about it. And even if you guys like live in other countries where this really isn't the case and you guys have a little bit more freedom and more flexibility and you're able to take risks and you don't work as much as us Americans, comment that down below because I do want to hear about it. Alright, you guys, till next time, stay pretty and remember, there's always a way out. You just have to find it.